You ever get that feeling that when, or for the first time, you break a rule, you're going to get caught, but you've always seen other people getting caught, or not getting caught when they break a rule? That was a terrible introduction, wasn't it? Anyway, I was monitoring the restroom today during one of the breaks at class, or from class today. Wow. Cannot talk, can I? I'm having such difficulty conveying this point. I was in charge of making sure the boys were following the expectations and procedures in the restroom today during a break. And it wasn't just my class that was in there. It was several fourth grade classes. And one of the rules for the restroom is the boys are obviously allowed to talk in the restroom, but they're supposed to keep it to what we call a voice level 1, which is supposed to be like a whisper level. So they should, you shouldn't be able to hear their conversation from more than a couple feet away. Well, obviously they're fourth grade boys, they're 10-year-olds. They don't do that. It's just not something they're able to do. When more than one or two voices are going, they feel like they need to compensate for that and talk louder. So I was in there reminding them of what the proper expectation was. And I said, the rule is a level 1. And if you can't do that, then you need to not talk at all. And for the record, I feel terrible implementing these rules. I hate telling kids not to talk because they're at a very pivotal social stage, and that's just something they need to do. They need to be able to talk. But the rule is, and it comes back on me if I don't enforce it, is that they keep it to a proper level or none at all. And one of the boys asked while he was washing his hands, he said, why can't you just change the rules? And I said, well, I'm not in charge of changing the rules. I don't make the rules, I just follow them. And I feel like a lot of people these days think they need to be the ones that make the rules, or if they don't like it, they just don't pay attention to it. The difference is, the majority of people that I run into in society are adults, and I'm dealing with a group of 10-year-olds. And like I said, at age 10, it's important to be social and kind of work out those social norms while staying within the confines of the rules and regulations that were set forth by the authority figures, who are the teachers and the administrators. So my issue is, there are some rules that it's okay for the kids to break at certain times, in my opinion, but I am responsible for enforcing the rules whether I agree with them or believe in them or not. In society, we are adults who are expected to already have worked out those societal norms and understand that there are times to break the rules and times to not. We as adults are supposed to understand that rules are put in place for a reason. And obviously, as I'm doing these videos, I am driving on a public interstate filled with people who are ranging from super cautious and erring on the side of, too much caution, which can also be considered dangerous, and all the way up to the people who think they're the only person on the road and have no regard for anyone else around them. I take issue with that. Not just in the road, standpoint, but also in just general interactive situations. Everyone wants to achieve their goal, whether it's to arrive at their destination or to receive some sort of good or service. There are lines, there are speed limits, there are, store opening and closing times. And these are just a few examples of times when people think they don't have to abide by the rules. Oh, your store closes at 9? Well, can I just come in at 8:59 and shop around for 20 minutes? No, our store closes at 9. There's not enough time for you to come in and look around. It's a rule. Accept it, come back the next day. Or you're at a theme park and you're waiting in line for a ride, and the group of people in front of you says, oh, well, our friend is coming up, can they come stand with us? No. If your friend wanted to be in line, they should have been in line when you got in line. They can wait at the back of the line now, or you can go join them. You're always free to go to the back of the line. But I don't want even one other person coming up in front of me and potentially disrupting my turn on the ride or the attraction. And on the roads, there is a speed limit. And I am by no means abiding by the speed limit every time that I drive. There are sometimes I go faster, and there are even sometimes that I go slower. And honestly, some of the times that I go slower, it's to tick off the person behind me who thinks that they can go faster. And just give them a second to slow down. Now, they hate it and they don't understand the lesson that's being taught to them, but they deal with it because the choices are to either slow down or run into the back of my car and be the person that caused the accident and thus have to pay for it. The point is, there are rules for a reason, whether it's in school not to talk above a certain voice level, or in society to wait your turn and be patient and understand that everybody wants to get to the end. Everybody wants to be first. Everybody wants to receive their comeuppance, as it were. But we can't all be first. We can't all get what we want every time we want it. But if you are patient and you wait and you accept the fact that there are rules and regulations put in place for a reason, you will always get what you need. It's like the song says, you can't always get what you want, but if you try, sometimes, you just might find you get what you need. But people just aren't patient enough to do that anymore, and I don't understand why. And I am not the most patient person in the world. I can't play golf for that exact reason. I don't have enough patience to wait my turn to hit a ball a couple hundred yards and then go find it and do it all over again. I would much rather breeze through the game, hit a few balls at the driving range or go play mini golf because it's so much quicker paced. I don't like slow-paced things when I'm trying to accomplish a task. To me, a game should be quick and fun and challenging all at the same time. Contrary to unpopular belief, and I say unpopular because very, very few people have watched any of these videos at this point. It will change. Mind you, it will change. Someday these videos are going to be all over the internet. Mark my words. Probably not. But it's a stress relief tool for me. So I'm going to keep doing it. What was I saying? I don't know. Oh, contrary to unpopular belief, I don't come up with my topic of these videos and rehearse it and write a script. I just kind of press record on the camera and say whatever happens to come out of my mouth. Hence the unedited unedited portions, just like that. The pauses, the ums, the uhs, the ands, the buts, all these things. It is off the cuff. I'm winging it, saying whatever I feel like saying, because I have the right to do so. And if you don't want to be patient and watch the whole video and listen to it, then skip to the end or jump around or close it out altogether. That is your business. It is not mine. My business stops with me and my personal space and how I feel about certain things. I have opinions and I'm sharing them. You don't have to agree with them. That's the beauty of being an American citizen. I don't have to agree with you. I still should respect you and listen to you and understand you, but I don't have to agree with you. There is nothing that says I have to understand or I have to believe everything you believe because you believe it. I had an argument with my sister about that several years ago. We were still young and living at home, probably somewhere in our teens, and we got into a heated argument about opinions. I felt a certain way, and I stated the fact that it was my opinion, and she disagreed with me. And I said, no, I can't be wrong because it's my opinion. An opinion cannot be wrong. A fact can be wrong, and therefore is no longer a fact. But if I want to believe, if it's my opinion that the sky is green today and not blue, then that's my opinion, and it can't be wrong. The fact is that the sky is blue. That's indisputable. But if I want to believe that it is green, then fine, so be it. And that's where, I'm about to get political. That's where the issue of transgender bathrooms comes into play for me. The fact is that you were born a certain gender, physically. And I talked about reflections and physical reflections this morning. There is indisputable fact that you were born a specific gender. That cannot be argued. But we as human beings are entitled to opinions. And those opinions cannot be changed unless we decide to change them ourselves. So if someone wants to believe that they're a woman trapped in a man's body, or a man trapped in a woman's body, or an African American trapped in an Indonesian's body, no one can tell them they're wrong. No one. Nobody. A single person cannot tell them they are wrong for believing that. They can present the fact that they are not that way, but the opinion that they want to feel is indisputable as well. You cannot disagree, or you can disagree with someone's opinion, but you cannot prove it wrong. If that makes any sense. And that, again, is my opinion. That is how I interpret the definition of those two words, fact and opinion. And you can disagree with that, because you're a human. Unless, of course, you are an animal watching this video, in which case you have no idea what I'm saying anyway. But facts and opinions. Facts cannot be disputed. Opinions can be disagreed with, but not proven wrong. Does that make sense? Theories can be proven wrong because they are statements that are hoping to become facts, and you can therefore prove them wrong. But opinions, not wrong, ever. Everybody's entitled to their opinion, and they cannot be told that it is wrong because it is their personal thought that will not change and cannot change until they change it for themselves. So there's that. That being said, if I want to identify and believe that I am a 65-year-old Indonesian man who should be collecting on Social Security, I should be allowed to do that. In the same way, this 18-year-old male wants to identify as a 15-year-old female and use a different bathroom. I don't think there's a problem with being fair across the board, but my issue comes when there are double standards. And I'm going to stop it right there because I haven't fully formulated my thoughts on the rest of this conversation or this topic. So it is not fair for me to try to throw them out there and get you to believe them or persuade you to feel the same way I feel. Just take this note. Accept the fact that people feel differently about different things. Understand that rules and regulations are put in place for a reason, and be okay with thinking something different than someone else and disagreeing with them. Don't listen to what one person has to say about something and just accept that to be your opinion about it as well, until you fully form the idea for yourself, outweighed the pros and cons, and can then express your thoughts on it in an educated and well-informed manner. Which is why I stopped talking about my feelings about the whole identity issue. And it comes back to my morning talk this morning. We have a certain view of ourselves. Whether that's the picture we see when someone takes it of us, whether that's the reflection we see in the mirror, or whether that's just the way we perceive ourselves in our heads. We understand who we are as people. And until we do that, if you don't understand who you are, if you don't have an identity, then that's what you need to figure out first. Because if you don't know who you are and how you feel about yourself, how can you possibly expect to understand how other people are feeling in certain situations, to have empathy and sympathy for their issues and concerns if you don't fully understand yourself? So take a look inward, folks. Examine yourself from a physical, emotional, spiritual, mental, whatever you want to. Experience yourself in those ways, and then share your opinions with others. Get to know them, they'll get to know you, and we can all live a little bit happier together in this world that we cannot change until we understand it. And we can't understand our surroundings until we understand ourselves. And that's my opinion. You can feel free to think differently. I don't care. I really don't. I will continue to think and feel and live the way I live until somebody tells me that I can't anymore, for reasons beyond my control. But as long as I have control over myself, I'm going to do what I want to do, within the confines of the laws, rules, and regulations set forth by the people that were elected to be in charge of me, directly. And that's all. Not angry about it, not frustrated about it. I'm just putting it out there that the whole last 15 minutes of your life watching this video has been confusing and incomprehensible in some cases and very inspirational in others. Enjoy it. Take it for what it's worth. I am clearly going nowhere with this video, so I'm going to stop it here. I'm going to drive the last 5 minutes home and relax. Have a great night. I'll see you tomorrow morning.